Okay, friends. You've been with us for the entirety of the UNAC tournament. It's time for the after-action
Some
report.
somehow you're still here.
Somehow.
This surprises me greatly.
Uh, so, we'll go in reverse order. Last place is Crow's UNACs.
Last
Bulldozer
place
and
with
War Machine. Or
oh
Warhound,
yeah,
pardon.
is it War Machine?
Warhound, yeah.
It's the Avenger.
That's the
Unfortunate,
Avenger.
unfortunately,
It
it
doesn't
was
have the
it
kind
was
of
not.
plot armor that the War Machine actually has.
Yes, so it did not do anywhere near as well as it could have. The little LRJ though, man, this poor guy, he could one for one a lot of the UNACs in the tournament with just flash rockets, shotguns. Surprisingly effective performance by him. I I was I was kind of taken aback that he was that good. Um, I think the biggest problem he has is that he would switch targets instead of finishing it.
Yeah.
Um,
I also think that there's no chips on here to
and
make use of the Mahan. At least I don't think there's any.
it would be yeah, Bay, right Bay, right underneath the first operation arm, right arm file. So it's certainly there, Sash.
Yeah, okay, I guess you're right. But we never see it come out.
No, I don't think it ever went down to actually using the Mahan. Um, not a bad little UNAC at all. This was not the weak point on the team. The weak point was the Warhound. Poor Warhound.
Yeah,
The,
poor
the
guy. It's got
program
a very effective weapon setup, but the programming is just not up to snuff.
it's programmed to fight at 230 meters, which is not where you want to be using Stracosas. Uh, it it's not aggressive enough to keep up with its RJ companion, and it has that same type of switch switch target chip setting where it'll constantly
Yeah.
change targets up. The other thing that really hurts it is its special movement. They're all set for like 400 and 300 meters. So it's not trying to close except with its normal boost.
Oh,
So
you're
it just
right. Yeah,
normal,
destination range
yeah,
is awful.
yeah. So it just moves towards the target.
Just lazily
Uh,
boosts in the general
yeah,
direction.
lazily boosts in the general direction. Uh, Honestly, I think this team would have done a lot better if Warhound was more in line with what Inosis looks like. A very aggressive Strek midway. I think the team would have done just fine. Uh, yeah,
Yeah,
I don't have a
remarks
lot to.
complete.
Remarks complete. I think not a lot to say. You kind of got to change the Warhound. The LRJ pulled its weight. The Sinto didn't.
Gotcha. Um, Next up, sixth place is a three-way tie. We'll start with least amusing first. We'll go over to my UNACs.
The least amusing. I thought this was the most amusing. The Great Ground Quad.
All right, we'll look at the great ground quad. Oh shit, I hit buttons. Sorry, yeah, just keep
You,
talking. You go ahead and talk.
just keep talking
Yeah,
while you actually, Sash. I really liked this as a concept. It was absolutely hysterical.
I thought
I'm
it
just
was funny,
disappointed.
but it was plenty funny, but it's awful.
um, yeah. I mean, if you're looking to optimize this, all you have to do is put this onto a lightweight tank, give it some chips to fire its bay weapons,
I,
and
I need to just point that out again. Like, there's no big chips on here.
yeah, there are no bay chips. The Great
Uh,
Ground Quad cannot fire its bay weapons.
uh,
Um, and you actually have something here in your second operation movement sesh if you want to go and look at it.
let's go take a
When
look.
you
Yeah.
when you have the and this I'm bringing this up because it comes up in several of the other UNECs in the tournament.
Uh huh.
If you look at your movement chip, you have the 5 slot movement chip.
Yes.
And I'll go a little bit more into depth with this on when we get to Nier's tank because it has a very very similar setup. But when I was testing stuff like this, I noticed that the UNAC doesn't actually, at least with a tank, move its chips from left to right like it should when it's reading, or like the other legs do.
Right.
It'll actually jump chips, skip
Oh.
them completely.
Uh-oh, we lost Rogan. Oh no. That's not great. I think my internet shit itself. And we're back after a spatiotemporal anomaly.
Sash's internet is shit the bed, everyone.
Now
as
you
I
wonder why the
was
rest of
saying
these
this-
haven't been uploaded yet. Sorry.
Oh my god. And if any of you wonder why Sash Goku warps in battle, this is why. It's the instant transmission lag technique.
Yes.
Anyway,
I use Genjutsu to prevent
we were
you from
talking
noticing.
about. It doesn't work. Anyway,
You were saying the chips, the tank will jump through chips instead of cycling
right?
through them.
It won't use all 5 of its movement chips. It'll use 3 of them.
Oh.
Generally, it goes 1, 3, 5.
Oh.
So there's not really a point in having 5 movement chips on a tank. Other leg types don't do this. I've only seen it with the tanks, and I don't know why it does this.
That's strange.
It's strange, but you can just cut. Honestly, I would cut like probably your maintain range chip, and I'll go more into that with the other tanks in the tournament. And I would cut the zigzag right chip from your movement pattern. Just use those 3.
Gotcha.
Put it on a standard light tank and let it just do its thing.
Alrighty then.
Yeah.
Anything to say about the Thretropod?
The Thretropod, the most badass fucking sniper cannon user who damage races people in the face. I mean, besides the FCF's choice, meaning that you would be better off using a howitzer.
Oh, that's right.
Because you can't fire outside of the fucking
outside of Yasukani range.
Yeah, the Yasukani range. Actually, the Thretropod was carried pretty heavily by its sheer armor and weapon set. Surprisingly nasty little piece of work once it actually went into shooting people. I would probably try to put this on like a midweight and see if I could keep the same weapon setup and just drop the sniper cannon concept completely, but I understand why you did it.
Yeah, you gotta make turrets.
It was funny as hell, Sash. Let's be real.
All right.
It was funny as hell. I see that you're using exactly the same special movement chip as Enosis uses.
Yes.
Complete to having 5 probability selections and 4 possible outcomes. So yeah, you can actually select no chip.
What do you mean you can actually select no chip?
If you look at your cost, EMP R5,
Yeah.
you have a slot 5 rate of 10%.
With 10. Yeah, I know. It's a blank.
And no chip there. You can take and change that to 0, you know.
Oh, really? I had no idea. It's pretty funny, actually.
So
I think I
clearly we
just
have
went
a
through here and I
copy-
just
we have
pulled out
copy
chips that
paste.
I knew I wouldn't need.
You just copy pasted shit.
Yeah, dude, I didn't have time to make the UNACs. I just sat down one evening and I was like, all right, what can I do?
But this explains why the Thretropod was able to win some of the 2v1s, because at a baseline, it's very, very similar to Enosis, who was an original UNAC tournament winner. Just a nasty piece of work.
When in doubt,
And
friends,
obviously-
just copy shit that works.
Just copy shit that works.
This
But
is also why the Great Ground Quad doesn't have bait chips, because I just totally forgot. Actually, you can notice there's a couple of things in here, like there's not actually a chip that's useful here in a couple of places. There's some chips that are disconnected. You know, it's just because I don't have an arm unit here. I have a shield. That's what I mean. I don't have shield chips.
Yes, but that having that arm unit chip means that it won't
It won't immediately
install.
cycle it.
Right. because if you just put no chip, if you just put a PMG chip there, it's going to pull the PMG out
Yeah,
and
you're
leave
right.
the shield.
Hmm.
So you had to either leave that slot completely blank or put a null chip, and you put a null chip there.
Yeah.
I personally might have put a shield chip there and let it cycle the shield a little bit, but fuck that.
Yeah,
We
dude,
going.
fuck that noise. Okay.
I love the Shuzamushi and Buria so
Yeah,
that you can
the
only hide
Suzuburia
moves
setup.
once.
Uh-huh.
Uh, glorious Sash,
Glory.
glorious.
All right, let's move on to the other far more glorious beasts in our inventory. We have also at 2 wins tied is Fanta.
Kind of surprised that the Fanta got only 2 wins here. Is the dark horse of the last tournament. The Fanta tank, a tried and true contender, quite literally beat the shit out of every other tank in the tournament at least once, barrel stuffing them with the
For
sniper
real,
cannon.
yeah.
It was absolutely hilarious. Um, it's Fanta. I don't need to harp on you about the FCF's error with the sniper cannon. I know you're tracking that one. The ice wall. This monstrosity.
Yes, dude, this beast.
It actually took a surprising amount of time to bring down, and I think that mattered in quite a few games. But honestly, I think you probably want to switch to 1870 KE defense just so that it doesn't get laser speeded to death.
Yeah, for real.
Because it's fighting at that same 250 to 260 range, and laser speed is just gonna demolish something with 1600 KE.
Yeah,
The
1600s.
other thing you want to do is you want to go. Okay, I'm gonna tell you how to do this. When you go into your operations and you go over to the shoulder chips, what you want to do is go and for starters, you have 2 chips with overlapping fucking settings here. But what you want to do is go down to that attack computation stat at the bottom, and you want to turn that down to like 50 so that you'll lock more than one pesticide at a time, and you can shoot swarms of pesties instead of single shot pesties, and you'll get a lot more DPS out of it. The setup itself is rifle and laser, tried and true. I don't really have
I would
any
have swapped
critiques on that one.
the Jessup to a Calendula.
Um, Calendula doesn't have the Jessup's firing rate though, and he's got the arms. I mean, I understand why the Calendula, but I don't know that he has the fire rate to really support it well.
Yeah, fair enough. Should we move on?
Still glorious. Yeah, remarks complete. I
Okay,
keep
remarks
forgetting to
complete.
say
Uh,
my line there.
too spitty.
Oh, Spitty.
Jesus fuck, dude.
Um,
These were a source of fun.
yeah. So, all right. I'm helping you out here, Spitty. So don't take this the wrong way. First off, those pulse machine guns, they're utter garbage. Second off, those CMGs, they're utter garbage. Don't use those, either of them. Secondly, make sure that with sniper UNACs, you're very, very fast. I would personally have put these as an LRJ and a lightweight. You have the range settings for them. You have them programmed to actually backpedal decently well. But they were not fast enough to keep that range, particularly not against some of the more aggressive UNACs like the what the hell was it? The near tank there was able to just run these down, and that was a problem. Subcomputers with sniper rifles on a long range FCS is absolutely fine, but when you go to stack subcomputers, the Model 3 subcomputers will stack them basically across the map for you. So drop those worthless PMGs and CMGs, make the builds lighter, Model 3 subcomputers, high power boosters. Sash, you had some comments about the Sidon bombs.
Yeah,
I don't know if you
I was
wanted
just
to.
gonna say I'd take either Zlatkos or Psycats.
Psychads are pretty tried and true and standard.
Yeah, seriously.
But yeah, so not bad for a concept, Spitty, but poorly executed. Speed is your friend as a sniper.
Speed is your friend, and also the defenses on these guys.
Oh god.
Like, I get
Oh,
that they have 40K, but like, fuck, dude.
yeah, I had forgotten about the defenses. Neither of these blocked high-speed missiles,
Neither
if
of
I
these
recall
block like
correctly.
fucking anything, dude.
Yeah. Make sure. Same thing that we told Fanta. Make sure you hit 1870
Or
KE.
just at least hit some meaningful defense numbers.
Yeah. Because
Especially the RJ. It's like, oh, yeah, I'm close to 800. That's about as much as I need. Or like, oh, I'm close to 1800. It's about as much as I need. No, like, get a meaningful number out
hit
of
the
that, or
numbers.
else just like fuck off with that defense. You may as well have 1500.
Yeah, I know some people have had the argument about semi-effective and semi-piercing range. Yeah, don't even bother.
Yeah,
Either block it or don't.
pretty
And
much.
the correct answer is block it if you
Gotcha.
can.
Moving on to Pyro then.
Uh, bes- the glorious accuracy 5-shot sniper cannon.
Yes.
Best moment in the tournament there was the sniper cannon fight with
Yeah.
the Thretropod. That was absolutely hilarious. Actually, I was pleasantly surprised that it got stuck in ready mode only temporarily. It would get out of it most of the time before B2K came and stuffed it with a howitzer that one game. The accuracy 5-shot was really cool. I
Yeah. No,
kind of like
seriously.
that.
I like that too.
That was very, very cool. Apart from that, tried and true quad, although I'm not sure I understand the frame choices.
Could
But
you
the
say a little
quad
bit more about that?
itself, oh, it's very low AP. If
Okay.
you
Yeah,
go
I
and
see that. The defenses are nice though, but yeah,
yes,
the AP is
the
terrible.
defenses are nice, but you have 4300 AP, which is only
It's
slightly more
less than
than
a
the
light
standard
quad.
quad. It's a little bit more than the standard light quad, a little bit more, but you're hitting the same, almost the same exact defense thresholds. You do block PMGs, I'll give you that one, but you still don't block out Strex. You block out uh, high-speed missiles, but you're a speed tier below them
Yeah.
because you're
Also, we should
using
maybe say
HUI.
something about your missile chips. Is you could just use rocket chips, and then you'd save a whole bunch of programming.
Oh yeah, you have some redundant chips here. Yeah, you can cut that down to one and just use like the rocket chip that lets you go 50 to 300 meters, and you'd be fine. Yeah, because those lock quickly enough that it's not a huge deal. You can get rid of the glide boost chip too. I don't know why you have that on a
Yeah.
quad at
Do you
all.
want to take a look at his targeting category? Because this is kind of
What do you mean?
a little bit amusing.
It, he wants to kill heavyweights, then he wants to kill the tetrapods, then he wants to kill tanks, then he wants to
Yeah.
kill whatever's closest to him. I mean
And
that
then whatever
seems
has low
legit.
AP. I
He
just
has a very specific set of targeting circumstances here. I mean,
I appreciate that.
completely legit. He's got a battle plan, and he's gonna go in with that battle plan.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, that's kind of all I got for the quad. Unless you've got something else,
No,
Josh. I would
that was my
personally,
last remark there. Let's
yeah,
check out the tank. Fenrir.
the classic international tank.
Dude, int ranker 007.
Yeah, the int tank. The 2K defense in every category, 47K AP, and then you've got auto cannons and what the fuck kind of I huh?
Huh?
I'm looking at his chips.
Where are we?
I'm looking at his movement chips. You have slot 1 and slot 2 rated at 80% apiece, and then you have
Huh.
no other chips.
Indeed.
What just take that down to
It has
just
go
take that
directly
down to
straight, do nothing, or move to the side.
yeah, dude, just take that to just take that down to the two probability movement and axe the third slot, put it at a 50-50 or a 49-51. And the same thing and less cost.
Yeah, same thing with the rest of these. Like, it looks like you're just using max level parts.
Yeah.
Just to have
No
the slots,
reason
but
to
you're
use
not
max
using
level
them.
parts. They don't actually make them perform any better than
Yeah, like
normal
look
level parts.
this thing. Oh, okay, never mind. It does have a second operation, but again, like look at how close you are to being overcost.
Right. As an The things you can do to make UNACs efficient is you can operate for them. As an operator, this will take a very long time to respond to commands, and that can get it killed. Despite its monstrous defenses here. Just like the other one, you have plan. Heavy bipedal, toucher pod, tank, then whatever's closest. Very good. I would be more interested in your part choices for your generator. Ah, come on, switch. Wrong button. I still can't press the right buttons here, guys. And
Yeah,
your
we're in a
auto.
Monkey 3, so Sewn, I mean, yeah, makes sense for a human, but for UNAC,
The
Procne,
UNACs
maybe?
benefit. Procne is a good choice. Most
For
of the
heavy tank
people in this
especially.
tournament. Yeah, for a heavy tank, Procne is not a bad choice at all. Procne or Golf 2-3 are what everyone in the tournament besides Sash ran. For a heavy tank like this, you can also use Suzumushi, but you forego the ability to kick. So up to you on that one, but you definitely don't want to be using the Sona UNAC. The UNAC benefits so much more from higher output because it can't move the same way that a human can.
And that's that.
The other thing I have is just run accuracy autos.
Oh, yeah, that too. I mean,
You have Echo 28 FCFs, which is okay, that's fine. But you have power autos. Your autos don't reach that far.
that's for sure.
Yes, power autos have obscene DPS. It's beautiful. But they won't reach out to your lock range. Your UNAC's just going to spam them and achieve nothing.
Yeah, it's only got a 200-meter optimal range. And even then, the accuracy is not great. 62%? Fuck off.
Something like that. Yeah, we actually saw this getting zoned, I think, by Sloth's squad.
Yeah.
At one point in the tournament, it's like if you had accuracy autos, that zoning wouldn't have been possible because they will reach out and continue to chip at that point, and you don't lose too much DPS on a heavy tank like this. You're still going to win whatever damage races that you need to win.
Remarks complete.
All right. Yeah, remarks complete.
In fourth place, we have a tie between the Extermination Squad and Sloth. Let's go ahead and take a look at our main man, B2K.
B2K is a glorious, absolutely glorious motherfucker. You can say nothing about B2K. The losses can all be attributed to RD, who's just a a fucking loose.
Let's talk about RD.
He's just a fucking loose cannon. Look at this madman. He's got fucking. So for some reason he's got goddamn AS missiles in his shoulder because I screwed up. He's supposed to have Matheras. Probably weight issues. He's got a fucking 111 fave. I'm not sure what that's supposed to goddamn achieve. He does have a Strakoza. All right, I'll give him that. But every time he goes to use that ultimate weapon, he just eats shit and die.
Yeah.
I think he activated it once in the entire tournament, and didn't immediately die. Ridiculous, RD. Ridiculous. I think maybe RD, you should just like shoot people with your fucked up fave. Oh, that is a Mathura? The Alpha 28 is a Mathura?
Uh-huh.
Okay. I think maybe, RD, you should just be programmed to shoot people with your fave and Strakoza and fuck the ultimate weapon. Use it to add damage to your boost charge or something. Because it ain't helping you.
Yeah, come on, man.
Come on. You held B2K back. You really did.
And
you had to come in there. You had to come in there and save your dumbass and fight 2v1s because you couldn't help him.
Moving on to Sloth then. Check out the ugly duckling.
The ugly duckling.
The huge pink quad.
Yes, the pinkinator. Kind of an odd frame, personally. I think
I'm in hindsight, I would have ditched the Toka boosters.
I think Suzu is fine, but I don't think Toko Suzu is fine with an X00.
Yeah.
That's me personally.
That's all I can say.
If you would had a K37 there, I don't think I would have any comments on your weapon setup. On Toko Suzu, I'm still a little bit oddballing at the frame. I understand you kind of wanted some turning performance.
Yeah, I also don't get the reason why you're using a CLI and you're still not hitting TE defense numbers.
Oh, he's not?
No. He's weak to PG.
Alas, he is not hitting. He's not. But look at he's blocking Strex though.
This is true.
It's true. He's blocking Strex, but you would get more out of hitting some TE defense numbers and stacking recoil resistance. That makes Fortress quads much more difficult to take down, and much more difficult. You also get a lot more AP out of the frame. We can see I personally pushed Toxapex up to
52k.
52k. Yeah, and I hit the same defense threshold. So high speed missile, uh, and uh, and T defenses, but I did the high speed missile defense through recoil resist, and TE weapons basically bounce off me. I think you'd have benefited from doing something like that, and you still could have used the CLI. I will grant that the UNAC becomes slower, but since it's programmed to maintain 300 plus meters at all times, it's really not a big deal. It's going to focus entirely on zoning people. I don't know if you have anything else to say on that one, Sash.
Not really.
But,
I'm more interested in a panic button.
oh, the panic button. The
I really liked this coming into the tournament. I thought this was some really sick shit.
as did I, and then we ran across our little issue here in the later
Yeah.
rounds.
We're gonna let
Panic
you handle
button.
that.
Panic button, panic button, panic button. But why do you do this to me? All right, so straight up, put panic button into the test mode with any of the other tanks in the tournament, and it shuts them down. And I do mean shuts them.
It's so strong.
It completely shuts them down, and frankly, it shuts down a lot of the other builds in the tournament as well.
Yeah, but only when it has that heat cannon.
Only when it has that heat cannon. I absolutely understand why you put the K29 behind it, but you have an operation setting here that causes it to purge.
Yeah,
its
op
heat
3
cannon,
over here.
Yeah, its heat cannon immediately when it sights a quad or anything with low TE, really, and you have it set to target based upon it focus fire. So if the quad, which has a longer lock range and detection, finds something first, this tank's going to shoot at whatever the quad's shooting at, and if that happens to be, say,
Tetrapod, yep.
a tetrapod, you're dropping your heat cannon, and that destroys your entire stun lock combo. We saw this several times in the tournament. This beats the near tank, hands down, not even a contest. This beats Unkilicon, hands down, no contest.
This beats the Rave squad.
This beats the Rave tank, hands down, no contest. But that drop of your heat cannon that continues your stun lock hurt your performance. You should just leave it on. And if you run across a lighter build, you've still got a rail cannon, you've still got flash rockets, so be it. You're better off keeping your stun lock going. You really are. Sash, I got kind of frustrated over that one.
Yeah.
Because this could have had a lot more wins. Remarks complete unless you've got something, Sash.
Not remarks complete. Over to the Rogan squad.
Oh, my stupidity.
Yes.
So
So Jesus Christ, fucking Toxpex over here is the fattest fuck imaginable.
It's beautiful.
Really is.
Its mommy says it's pretty.
Yeah, no, I get that. Yeah, nasty piece of work this thing is.
The frame is going to remain basically the same, but I'm going to change this to a much more effective dual laser weapon setup.
Mm-hmm.
Overall, I think the quad was the stronger member of my party, but I didn't give it the same setup I did at Mega Slowbro, so it's not meant to kite. If you pull up its chip setting, Sash, I'm almost positive it's set to fight at a specific range.
Let's check.
Zigzag, it should be zigzag, zigzag, circle. That's a maintain range movement pattern.
At 200 look at range, it, pretty much. Yeah, and this is a long range
at
build.
200 range with a long range build.
This is like a fast skirmisher thing.
Right. I did that on purpose because I didn't want to play kiting games this whole tournament. I didn't think that would be as fun, but I also at the time didn't realize Rave was entering, so that's my own fault, and I will take steps to correct that action at another time. But it's really the biggest screw up with this. I'm not using all the range of the quad effectively. Um, the jellyfish actually put in a
Yeah,
lot of work. I
jellyfish
was
I think were really
surprised.
successful. Like let's not discount these builds just because they came in third place. It's still 7 wins out of 9 rounds. It's a
Yeah,
terrific showing.
fuck, it should be fucking it. Triple L stuck underneath triple L. Damn,
Yeah,
twice,
yeah.
twice. We were so wasted that we didn't even think to switch the fucking map. Got stuck underneath triple L twice. Mm, mm.
Uh,
I'm just gonna go grind my teeth.
yeah.
Uh,
Remarks complete, or should we talk about it in Caligon?
remarks complete unless you've got something that you'd like to say, Sash. I straight up stole the paint scheme from someone on Rave's team,
Yeah, makes
JP
sense.
side.
I don't get the Wakakusa still.
Oh, what
The
on
Omni.
Kilogon?
Yeah, on Caligon. I just don't get it.
The style.
Other than
Why?
that, 49915 is fucking good.
Style points.
Yeah, Rogan and I have sort of discussed this. Is that I think in the future, just like a 49915 tank with a cannon
Yeah.
and autocannon is then you're set.
Actually, now's probably as good a time to mention it as any. So, when it comes to UNAC versus humans and UNAC versus UNACs, you actually don't want to run the same type of setup. UNAC versus UNAC engagements, and this is gonna hurt. It hurts me as a participant in the tournament, and it's gonna hurt some of the other people here. Straight down to firepower, armor, and firepower. I actually I got really inspired by this rocket tank idea, and then we saw Nier's tank, which we'll get to a little later, which uses a heat cannon, which can stun someone, and it has very interesting rocket setups, very precise rocket setups. I
As
said, well,
opposed to
that's
yours,
kind of
which is
awesome.
just like, hey, if you're in the general vicinity, just fire them
Yeah,
off.
mine was just like blanket people with rockets because they were originally KE rockets. The
I
idea was
see.
it was
Yeah, that
just
makes
going to be like
sense.
wee. Um, I changed it to heat rockets, and I never really reset the build for it. But
Yeah.
um, rockets still add a huge amount of firepower. If you look at the basic DLC tank, which has very similar defenses to the classic international tank that Pyro had, but it has that crappy Kingdom autocannon, and that's a KE cannon and then KE rockets in the shoulders. So same kind of concept that Nier has here with a uh, cannon stun and rocket DPS. I fiddled with those chips for 5 minutes, and then I matched it against every UNAC in the tournament, and it utterly decimated them multiple times. So armor and firepower are absolute winners in UNAC versus UNAC engagements. However, that's not the case in UNAC versus human engagement.
It's certainly not.
You can I learned the hard way very early on, not a bunch of heavy tanks and expect to fight humans, and we saw this a lot in the tournament where they just get stuck on fucking
They get
everything.
stuck everywhere.
They're so
There's like
stupid
no
and they
level
can't
geometry
fucking
that they
move.
can't get stuck on.
If they can find a hole to get stuck in, they
Oh, they
will get
will. They
stuck.
will, and they'll lay eggs. They ain't
And they
coming
lay,
out.
they lay eggs in the hole, and then they have to defend their brood, so they can't come out of the hole.
Pretty much.
They can't jump as well, so even if they can climb something, they're not going to be able to make those same jumps like a human would and get over the obstacle. A UNAC versus UNAC tournament, absolutely run the heavy tanks, but you can't get away with doing something like that in human PvP. The UNAC simply won't be able to keep up with the humans.
That's for sure. Remarks complete.
Yeah, remarks complete. I think the firepower thing gets itself out if we look at the top three teams. We all carried the
Yeah,
highest
that's true.
DPS possible. Who's number two here?
Yeah, speaking
Rave,
of that,
right?
that's Rave with 8 wins.
So Rave, I expected Rave to clean sweep the tournament, and yeah, we'll get to rank one in a minute here, but extremely heavy firepower, a lot of
Yeah, the
A lot
12
of
of the
high
VTFs is
impact.
wild shit.
Yeah, absolutely brutal. I think that the tank was your weaker member by far. This heavyweight, it defeated a number of 2v1s. Really astonishing to me.
Yeah, that's true. And
I
just
knew it
by
was
kiting them back
strong.
and having VTFs.
Yeah, I knew it was strong, but I did not think it was that strong. It's an incredibly difficult little bot to take down,
Yeah,
even in a duel setting.
the ability for UNAC to wield two lasers at once and manage that EN is impressive.
Yeah, Rave does have this put on his channel again. I'm not going to go through each of the individual parts. I've learned some things from looking at it. I've built my own little series, although I went crazy and I put medium missiles and a UBR on it. But
That's
Rave's
exactly what I
original,
would do.
but Rave's original setup here is probably one of the most effective, if not the most effective UNIC I've ever seen.
Yeah, like and
Really,
subscribe to Rave, please.
yeah,
um,
really, really
regarding
a
his tank,
nightmare.
though, if I could like step in for a second, it's basically just a ported over version of the heavyweight, but like just on fatter legs. And Rave is a big fan of this. I guess what's called the Almighty weapon combo, where you have stuff that's just pretty much effective against everything, and that is basically laser cannon, auto cannon, mid missile. There's nothing in the game that's going to
Oh
sponge
yes,
that easy, you
yes,
know.
yes. It
And
doesn't care
we
what it
saw that with
shoots
yeah,
at.
it
It doesn't
does not
care.
care what it's shooting at, and so
It doesn't
that
care
made
if you have a shield. It doesn't care what range you're at. Yeah.
yeah, and that's what made it particularly effective. The DPS maybe isn't that great, but it has all ranges covered, and it's got all defense types covered.
Yes, yes, indeed. Rave's UNAC actually scored the most boost charge kills, I think.
Is that right?
I remember he got quite a few of them, which was very interesting because this tank also is programmed to kite backwards. It's surprisingly quick for a tank. Uh,
Yeah, that's for
yeah,
sure.
I don't have a lot that can be added to this without changing the concept of the design. Very well done, Rave.
I will say,
Very well done.
both builds particularly weak to battle rifle builds. They have like no
Except you
CE
have to catch
defense.
them
Yeah, but
first.
yeah, you catch them, and you have to you're walking into stun.
Yeah, the heavy stun on these is nasty.
And
Will
UNACs can't glide boost pretty well.
No.
Very well
I
done,
will
that is.
say that these are for fighting humans.
Yeah,
I think.
and they'd probably kick our asses.
Oh, yeah. Even even if you wanted to go and make these specifically for fighting UNACs, about the only thing you could really do was make the tank heavier. Or you could put a different shoulder option. You could put VTFs in there just to increase the DPS further. But as we saw, it wasn't necessary. This will fight anything, including humans, including other UNACs. It just didn't have quite as much firepower as you could put on it with things like rockets. However, the consistency paid off. So, hey,
That's for sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
Again, my hat's still Riv.
Prepare to put your hat back on, then take it off again for the winner of the tournament.
Oh dear.
So
Oh
near.
dear.
Congratulations for pulling this out of your ass. For you pulling this out of your ass. Holy
Uh,
fuck,
wh-
you lucky bastard!
Yeah, no shit. I don't know how you did it, Nier. Were you fucking hacking our PS3s to get the map choices you did? That's ridiculous. God
Oh man.
damn it.
I mean,
Um,
the UNACs, I guess, yeah, on the DPS angle, no slouches for sure. But like, holy fuck,
which one?
the number
Yeah,
of crazy map situations you got in your favor. Um,
yeah, absolutely ridiculous, and they absolutely changed the outcome. Don't even try to think they didn't.
ah!
There are a couple things I wanted to cover on these though.
Which one first?
Uh,
Crow or I
uh,
fucking love the emblems, dude. I love the
the
emblems.
Drinky Crow, the Drinky Crow has the best fucking emblem
Yes,
in the
dude.
tournament.
The Drinky Crow is the
Okay,
emblem of UNAX
the
2.0.
god, the gods. Okay, if anyone objects to the Drinky Crow's emblem, you can just go away and not watch the rest of
Yeah, you
any
could just
of
fuck
our
right off.
UNAC tournaments.
Hmm.
Yeah, exactly. Fuck off and don't come back. Uh, I put it out that the battle rifle was a screw up on our part.
Yeah, we're sorry about that one. Although it turned out in your
Yeah,
favor, I guess.
I think that I don't know that it hindered or helped. I will say that the Gatling gun or Candula would be more effective there, but I think that's already been addressed. One of the things that you really do here, near, um, this is a first gen fucking KE shield. It's worthless. Sniper rifles break it off.
Let
It's
me see
not
if I can
walling
find
anything.
it.
Yeah,
Where's that? There it
it's
is.
not.
You can see the defenses.
Yeah, it's not walling anything. I mean, it does block a PMG, sure, but your quad does too.
Yeah, your quad doesn't care if it's getting PMG'd.
It doesn't care if it's being PMG'd.
It's got so much more DPS anyhow.
Yeah, you're better off simply using a different shield. Um, the chipsets themselves, the chipsets show a lack of understanding of the way the UNACs actually move. The quad is mostly okay, and then you go over to his special action category, and you're like, okay, action
Oh, this
chip
should be
update
fun.
interval. It's at 1. It's probably where I'd set it. Then you go and you look at the duration of the fucking chips.
Oh, are these like the 15-second ones or the 15-minute ones or
These are,
whatever?
these are the fucking
Or special action.
20-second durations for each of the fucking
Yeah,
movement chips.
I remember these.
Why? This doesn't help you. It actually can catch you with your pants down out in the open if it's stuck on the fucking turning chip. And you've got 2 of the goddamn turning chips in here. Fortunately, the turning chips will turn themselves off. You don't need to increase the duration. If the duration on a turning chip is 5 and it needs to go longer than 5, it'll go longer than 5. It doesn't matter. There's no reason to put it at 20. If your UNAC is stuck in its high boost chip and it needs to wall jump, it can't. Because it's stuck in its high boost chip. What the fuck? How did you even? Just cut those down, man. Cut them down.
Yeah, they could be 5 seconds easy.
They don't. Yeah, and 1 turning chip. One.
Just one. Just one.
You don't need 2. It don't need 2. But apart from that, it'd be a quad. The Ghost of Farmer Roland here. It has another name. Oh wait, the name is displayed. Oh, something strange.
Yeah, something strange. In the
No, it's the Ghost of Farmer Roland.
Yeah,
Fuck
may as well
that.
be.
It's the Ghost of Farmer Roland.
Yeah, so this is the kind of tank, if you took off the bays, that I would duel hit people with, pretty much.
Yeah, the bays are
They just weigh
basically
down.
added weight and drain here, and you don't hit recoil distance numbers with the bays. Just drop them. They're not helping you, and they're putting added drain on the tank.
Pretty much.
Um,
Also, this is kind of low AP for a medium tank, but you
yes,
have
but
defense numbers.
yeah, I absolutely agree with the tank frame. I learned the hard way that it's very important to block out high speeds because you can damage race the battle rifle come at you.
Yeah.
That's not a problem.
But it's
But
the
you
burst
can't
is the issue.
deal with the high speed, right? The stun into the rockets was very cool.
Yeah, that shit was sick, dude.
That was really really cool, and the heat cannon worked for it.
I mean,
surprisingly
hey, dude, 1900
effective.
impact force? Yeah, you're laying on your ass
Yeah,
after that.
surprisingly effective at doing that stun, and then your rocket chip settings on this were extremely
Really narrow.
tight and precise.
Yeah.
What is it like? Yeah, 4 and 4 for your interval. So, hey, it worked nicely. I love the DPS on this.
Yeah, dude, 20 reload with it's basically like a fucking like
4
Strakoza
shots
machine
Strakoza.
gun.
Right. I mean, beautiful DPS.
Yeah, we
on
saw it
worked
just
well.
melt shit.
Yeah, that was
Absolutely
hysterical.
destroyed shit. Like in the fight with Rave, the 2 tanks were stuck in between those narrow buildings.
Rave had 30k AP
30k
to your
up to like
11.
11, and just brought it right back.
So the Rocket's not a bad choice at all. Again, in a UNAC tournament, the DPS they add, fantastic. You're never gonna touch a human with it.
Yeah, alas.
Yeah, completely useless for fighting a human. But in a UNAC tournament like this,
Yeah,
fantastic.
fucking sick.
We
have a 20-second glide booster right up over here.
Oh yeah, okay, that's one of the things I wanted to touch on. Again, this tank was carried by its fucking DPS because its chipset simply shows a lack of understanding the way it works. Your two glide boost chips here. The first chip overrides the second chip. Your second chip's never going to activate. Just drop it. If your energy critical is set at 70, your first chip, which activates, chips activate left to right, has its energy critical set to 40. Anytime that the UNAC has 40 energy, it's going to use this chip. Anytime it has more than 40 energy, rather, it uses this chip. So anytime it has more than 70 energy, it's already used the first chip.
So it's not even using the second one.
It won't use the second chip. Just drop it. You don't need that shit. Just get rid of it. It doesn't. It's doing nothing for you except adding cost. Boost charge was fine. This thing scored a couple. Yeah, this thing scored a couple pretty solid boost charges. Evasion chips, not how I'd set them up, but in theory, fine. This was something that I think was very, very well on Nier's UNACs here. So, excuse me. If you look at his targeting chip, your action interval is 1, but it's always shooting at whatever is point blank.
Ah.
I think that came into play a couple times throughout the tournament, although I'm too exhausted to recall specific instance. The Nier tank was always on the target it should be.
Yeah.
Instead of getting stuck on things like a quad. So that was very, very well done. Chips execute left to right. I think. Targeting executes... I think targeting executes left to right. It might be parallel, but I think targeting executes left to right. So this one was always on what it needed to be. It was always shooting what it needed to be. Yeah, and then it target heavy bipedals and tanks. I mean, that's fine. Honestly, I would probably just have range and then AC. Maybe
I would
focus
have
fire.
Like range AP.
AP chips you don't want.
Why?
AP chips can make you trying to shoot the little dude who's at 3K stuck behind a building while you're being shot in the back.
Ah, fair enough. So
this range chip is a better choice.
Gotcha.
That was a good pick. That was well done. And then I had a gripe with your movement chips. Oh, okay. And I promised Sash I'd touch on this. With your movement chips here, you have the maintain range. This screws with map navigation. And it can actually make the UNAC back off. I'm not sure why, but this automatically has like an evaluation range set to 90. So if you look at the zigzag chip immediately next to the first range close chip, you've got your target angle set to 90. A range chip already acts like that. So this chip is doing nothing. Huh. If I go to the third chip, I have maintain range. And then, again, angle set to nothing. Angle set to 90. So this chip is also doing nothing. You're doing nothing with these extra chips. Except resetting your range. And you can do that by simply axing those chips. And having the two maintain ranges next to each other. The other thing about maintain range chips is that they always evaluate that angle before they evaluate the distance to a target. So your distance here is set for 30. If your UNAC is being flanked, it will always try to correct that angle, that 90 degrees, before it corrects that distance to 30. So if you put this up against Enosis or Kermite in a duel setting, the test arena, both of whom are programmed to flank, they run circles around this thing and it can't do anything about it. So if you're going to use movement to a target, you want to make sure it's at a range where your tank's stationary turning can keep up. So if you go and you look at your turning chip here, acquisition range 200, and you've set your angles here to max. So this chip will activate any fucking time it wants to inside of 200 meters. You'd want to have your target range set further than that. or cut down your turning chip. I would honestly cut down your turning chip because I think your target range is a good pick for your tank. Sash, I don't know if you have any other comments here, but
No, I think you pretty much nailed
those
it. I
are
was
kind
going to
of my
touch on the turning thing.
yeah, those are kind of
Just
my
because
nitpicks. You
it's
cut your
already
turning
within your
down.
combat range.
Yeah, I mean, cut down that turning chip, and your combat range should be for a DPS tank. That that turning setting, yeah. But your DPS carried you through to victory here near,
DPS harder.
and yeah, and your fucking map luck out the ass.
All right. Well, we hope to see you all in UNAC Tournament 3.0 whenever that happens.
Fare thee well, brave heroes, and thank you to everyone who participated.
Yeah, seriously, thanks for sending us your UNACs, guys. We really appreciate it. It may be hard on Rogan and I to like put the time together to do this shit and get everything sorted.
Yeah,
but
Sesh, I work full time. Sesh is a student.
I mean, also work.
So we're it's fucked up. It can take us quite a while to get these put together and set up and recorded. Yeah. So bear with us, and thank you for having the patience to bear with us.
All right. Until next
and
time,
putting
friends.
up with our drunken ramblings.
Oh yeah, that
yes,
too.
fare thee well.
Take care, friends.